The Le Tour de France is here with an outstanding, difficult stage 1. This will never happen again on the opening stage of the Tour de France. 1st of July, you know what that means. I'm back. We start in Bilbao, a Basque Country Grand Depart with Puppy overlooking from the Guggenheim Museum. Yes, I went there last year. Had a little lunch outside as well at a nice restaurant. Bit of art, bit of contemporary art. But Jonas is here to defend the title. Tadej Pogacar, he's back. At least he's starting with Yates as co-leader. And this stage was difficult with the Côte de Piquet being 2Ks 10%, but the last 500 steeper than that. And when we were off, I was surprised to see that only 5 teams were interested in being the breakaway. It's an unusually difficult opening stage, and there's KOM points on offer. Just Ankhorn and Gregard and Carmajan and Intermarché. And Van Hooydonk says to Lampard, will you help us chase? And Lampard says, you know what, seeing as you asked so nicely, Nathan, we will help you chase. Because obviously Alaphilippe was a contender for the stage. Pogacar was the stage favourite after Slovenian national champs. He was very strong, winning both. And Alpecin were also chasing early on for Van der Poel, Turner for Pidcock. So they were all the contenders. And Wout van Aert, of course, Jumbo would come to the fore later. But the break got no leash. They were hoping to go a bit deeper into the stage, but going through like Guernica and all these small towns, and de Klerk was, I think, overpacing a little bit. Break got no leash. This was strange to me, though. Adam Yates, who won Tour de Romandie and I think's in very, very good shape, taking his own bidons at 50Ks to go, and Soler went back 2 minutes later to take bidons too, in the domestique role that he's in. So you might be saying, oh, 50Ks to go, what does it matter? Well, the breaks are already caught. And on the climbs, it was a little bit calmer, but everyone's already in position. Bora, Jorgensen pacing for Movistar, somewhat curiously taking wind. EF are moving up because whoever wins the sprint over the top of the Cat 2 Vivero, they take the KOM jersey because there's 5 points on offer. So now Powers is getting interested in that, and they're moving up. So I thought it was curious Yates had to move himself up. Jakobsen and Cavendish and Pure Sprinters, they're already gone. And it's just fighting. All day, nervousness, fighting. Well, no big crashes up to this point. It's like a San Remo lead out into the Cipressa here, into the Vivero. Here's the second last major climb, 4K 7%. And guess who's back? It's Orkert, 11 ans, Mikel Biot, who just won a stage of the Dauphiné, his first pro win. You remember him from last year. I was referring to stage 17 when he dropped Van Aert, shredded the Jumbo-Visma team and really the whole peloton. He even dropped Adam Yates. And now he's back for more. These are the climbs that suit him, sort of 10 minutes at 6-7%. He didn't go that deep into the climb, but it's a tell though. Poggy is on, and he's going to attack on the Côte de Piquet. We know that, even though Jumbo-Visma got to control at their tempo for the last 2Ks, and already question marks over Biniam. He was never winning this stage, but dropping on Vivero or struggling there, what does that mean for the Jaizkibel tomorrow? Paulus, credit to EF and their director's car for being sharp. A lot of the other teams maybe didn't realize they knew that KOM was on offer here, and Paulus did the business. EF take KOM on day 1, 2 years in a row. I don't know why more teams don't try and go for it. And here's the descent. Jumbo in front. And Enric Mas, unfortunately, abandons the race here. If you just zoom in, you can see it's very strange. He's overlapping what I think is his teammate, or maybe a UAE rider. And he was in a pocket, I think, behind them. And then he bumps shoulders on the apex, and he just goes straight. It's very difficult to see, but you see him go straight. He hits that wall at, 60 plus, hits his shoulder really hard. He abandons the race there, and Carapaz also, the race doesn't stop for him. He would get back on his bike, but his knee, I think he had a fracture in it. He finished the stage, but he just, EF said he abandoned. So the race continues, 2 GC guys already gone, and Vingegaard, position. He's having to move himself up with the Jumbo train already departing. Choo-choo! Without him, this is into the base of Côte de Piquet. Not so technical, it's wide roads, but still, position was hugely important. It doesn't matter if it's narrow or not, because you still have to move yourself up in the wind when big boys like Soler are launching it at 45 kph. And I want you to take note of the gradients of this climb. So it goes 7% shallower, then the last K kicks up and is severe when they cross over a bridge. And Groschartner he is supposed to do the 7% section for UAE Team Emirates, and he does. And Bernal had a gap left by Kwiatkowski, who's pulled off, and Bernal's not going to close that gap when they're doing basically a sprint lead out on 7%. So Groschartner goes clear, and he kind of doesn't know what to do because he does the whole 7% section without looking back full. Gets to the 4% section here. He looks back and then he soft pedals a bit after this, and then he looks and he sees, okay, well, Benoit's chasing me with Poggy in the wheel. I'm making Jumbo work anyway. Why not continue on with it? I think he was kind of caught in two minds as to what to do here. I think he just kind of pedaled, and now the bridge here, this is where the steep starts. Van Aert not in great position at all. Lefebvre moves himself onto Godou's wheel. Alaphilippe in magic position. Here's the running order. Grosschartner, Yates, Pogacar, Vingegaard, Alaphilippe, Lefebvre, Godou, and then Schjelmoser, Kelderman. Van Aert's just out of shot. Simon Yates actually starting in bad position. I believe he was top 3, top 4 strongest on this climb. But the position cost you because look how narrow this is. Lefebvre moves ahead of Alaphilippe. Alaphilippe and Godou drop the wheel here. There's a gap. And with these fans, you can't move up easily. You see Yates' giant helmet just behind the Total rider? He's blocked. And then he has to do a big acceleration with Van Aert and drops him. But it's too late. Yates, his brother, is doing the heavy lead out. Pogacar, predictably, in the Slovenian national champs jersey, steps off and can't drop Jonas Vingegaard. Now, no one was expecting him really to drop him, but this big surprise was Victor Lefebvre. Poggy looks round, sees Jonas in the wheel, flicks him, stops, and Lefebvre hits him with Yates just behind. So Poggy wasn't going to ride to keep his teammate just behind. Victor Lefebvre's a serious guy. If you watch the Juris races, the one-day races, he torched Martinez in a very difficult uphill finish with big watts per kilo. But this is the best he's ever been. But now over the top, it's not so big a gap. And with Poggy not going to ride with Yates behind, which I was somewhat surprised by, he waits. And we see this was not shown. Schjelmoser comes back first, and then Yates is just there on the wheel. And then later we see Godou bringing Adam Yates back and no Van Aert. So I was thinking, okay, no Van Aert. They're going to put Yates on the front and ride for Poggy sprint. Easy sprint win, right? I think it's very smart what they did. I mean, 2020 hindsight, Yates just goes off the front because the group is too big anyway. Very smart racing. Uses the 2-leader strategy. Simon, his brother, bridges across to him. Jonas is going to have to wait. And they get a nice, healthy 5-7 second gap. They get the moto draft. It's 4 Jumbo chasing, but it's only Kelderman and Kuss. The only other team with 2 riders is Pinot and Godou, but they don't trust themselves in a flat sprint finish against Pogacar. And the 2 brothers are gone, no questions asked. They work seamlessly together all the way to the line, no finessing. The only man that could bring them back is in the wheels is Van Aert. And so, yeah, Kelderman and Kuss are not going to be faster than those guys on a descent. They're both very aerodynamic. They've both been 2 of the strongest 4 guys on the climb. And so the gap actually expands to 16 seconds, gets brought down at the end. And when Adam Yates does his final pull, he drops his brother Simon Yates off the wheel. 2 brothers going clear to go 1-2 in the first stage of the Tour de France. This will never happen again unless Joni Zagirre and Gorka Zagirre do it next year. But I don't believe so. This is a unique moment in the Tour, and Pogacar won the sprint for 3rd comfortably. He's G'd up.